Good morning again. I also wanted to talk today about children. My children are grown up, and I didn't do things perfectly. None of us do. Now I've learned a lot of things since in the last few years, a lot of new things, and me and my kids got along pretty good, but I was still that parent that was like, I thought that it was supposed to be my way all the time, and I now know differently. Um, and like I said, I wasn't perfect, and I wasn't. I don't know. I didn't do everything right. I'll just say that. And I just feel like now that I know the things I know, like we don't have to. We're not supposed to teach our children to be afraid. We're not supposed to teach them to fear everything. We're supposed to teach them to be cautious. We're supposed to teach them to think for themselves. We're supposed to teach them, um, or to, yeah, to teach them a better way. A better way than a better way than what we were taught. And like I see a lot of people like now, even now, like teaching them through fear, and that's not really the right way. We're supposed to teach them through teach them to respect themselves, teach them to think for themselves, teach them to trust their intuition, because if we're always telling them, this is the right way, and not listening, and we're supposed to listen to them, listen to their ideas, let them talk about their feelings, they're supposed to let them feel their feelings. Don't tell them, like, you know to go to their room if they're crying or this and that. Like, you have to let them know that it's okay to have feelings, and to teach them how to um, feel their feelings and to talk about their feelings instead of reacting to things, because that's the way a lot of people are. Like, they don't feel their feelings, and then eventually they react. But if we teach them how to not control, but how to go through their emotions, feel their emotions, let them out, talk about them, and let them tell us how they feel. Because just because we don't know how they feel doesn't mean they shouldn't feel that way. We all deserve to feel however we feel. And I think that's where a lot of it gets messed up, is that we weren't taught that it's okay to have those feelings. We were taught, like, or and it wasn't, a lot of it wasn't intentional. Like, that's just the way they did things. And but when you tell people, like, to go to your room, or I'll give you something to cry about, and things like that, like, you're teaching them that they're not supposed to feel that way. And that's what they think. You know what I mean? Like, in their mind, they're like, okay, what, I'm doing something wrong because these people that love me are telling me to go away. And that's not how it should be. It's all about acceptance. And yes, we can teach them how to deal with them in better ways. So we're supposed to teach them to respect themselves. And respecting themselves is to know that it's okay to be who they are, and to feel how they feel. And when we respect, and because there's a lot of that thing where um well, I'll say, like, for me, like, I'm the mom, and it's my way, and I wasn't, like, completely that way about everything, but sometimes I was. And when you're not that person, you don't know how they feel, so how do you get to tell them that they shouldn't feel that way? And I'm not sure I ever really did that, because I was a person who, I felt my feelings. I talked about my feelings, um but I always didn't know how to handle my children's feelings. And like, that's the thing. Like, you gotta like be there for them. You know, and if they need space, you give them space. And if they want you to freaking hold them, then hold them. And if they want to cry, let them freaking cry. You know, if they need to freaking yell, you know, to let out their anger or whatever, not at you. You have to teach them how to do it the right way, but let them feel that stuff, you know, because you're not supposed to, if you feel angry, you're angry, period. You know, like my kids' father died when they were young, and I never had anybody die on me. Like, I didn't really know how to help them because I never went through that. And, like, I did my best, but at the same time, like, you can't tell somebody else how to feel. You don't. And I'm not, and we don't really know. Sometimes we don't know how to handle things, and I mean, that's okay. But when we know better, it's we should do better. So, all right, everyone. Love, peace. Stay tuned.